Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Today's episode of The Mike O'Mara Show is brought to you by our bonus packages. Please go to MikeO'MaraShow.com and click on the bonus banner. You'll get access to all of our bonus content, and even better, you'll be helping out TMOS. So please quit sucking, and we thank you.
Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store, and around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Happy Monday. Before we get into the body of the show, let me throw out a thank you to my bride, who did something for me that might seem very mundane, very boring, very vanilla, but I have to share it because I am grateful and I wanted to do it publicly, although I've also done it privately. So yesterday, I was out doing what I do, which is hitting that little egg, which is my number one activity. And it was a later time than normally. Normally I'm up at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Super early down here. Didn't get it because they're here, so no longer do we get to play when we want to play.
And when you say
all the people that get the trophy, the people that want the trophy come down. Okay. Everybody's here. The people that literally will go back for Thanksgiving, come back, go back, come back, come back. Cold, hot, oh, go. Too hot to be down. F you. Anyway, sorry. That's really top of mind. We'll get to that later.
Is it too hot to wear a mask?
Nope.
Are you? But you're technically not a snowbird yourself, right?
No. I'm a resident.
You're a COVID bird. You leave.
I'm a COVID. I was a COVID bird.
Yeah,
that's a great name. I'm a COVID bird.
Look at the trees.
That's what you would call it. But I get out of Dodge for sometimes if I can. So let me tell you. I'll give you an example. Play yesterday, they were going, this other group subset that I play with, were exchanging dollars upstairs. And he said, are you coming up? And I think I looked at one of the guys. I am well known enough now at Cocoonville, where he said, are you coming up? And I went, oh, okay. All right, here's that. I didn't even acknowledge it. It's like, no, go breathe. Go breathe. Go in with the football people, Go Pat!
So do they meet? Is it like a little tavern where they meet in, or where do they meet inside? What's it like?
It's called, hey, Robb. No, I'm not going to say the name of it.
COVID Tavern.
It's called Droplets.
COVID Tavern. Droplets.
That would be a great name of a hotel bar, wouldn't it? When they always have like a name that's sort of like a thematic name.
Don't poop, Linus.
Droplets.
That's a poop sniff.
Linus.
That looks like he's...
No, he pooped this morning already. He's like, excited. Okay. He likes the cold weather.
Where can I
He's got something in that carpet he digs.
Yeah, he's looking for snacky snacks.
Yeah. Well, that's where I had an accident.
So I bet you have over the years. You've been in that house long enough. That's probably got spooge on it.
What you got mistimed incidents?
General incontinence.
Yes. Remember him from World War II?
So here it is. So I come rolling in. A couple of weeks ago, we have a storage. We got storage because we had too much stuff in the garage, and we got this amazing storage deal for like $35 a month down the street.
Worth
for basically a room. That's the racket, though. If you ask her if you ever want to do your entrepreneurship, if you find the opportunity, I will go in on it with you.
Oh yeah, okay. Storage REITs like 5 years ago, they were massive.
Yeah, it's storage works. Yeah. But everybody's doing it now because it makes money. So anyway, back to this. I've come pulling in, and I go, wow. And my bride has completely and totally cleaned and organized every inch of the garage. It is sparkling. She has set up a golf station for me. She has moved ladders. She's moved trash buckets. And it was just a really cool. And Carla, if you're listening, I have to tell you that is much appreciated. A lot of things are much appreciated with you. You jumping back into that workforce. Taking that amazing pressure off of me. I truly appreciate that. It was just really cool to see that.
And don't forget, Mike, she manages to look stunning every day.
She does manage to look stunning. She's very happy. And, I'm glad she found this place to work with this wonderful lady she's working with, and everything's going quite well for her in the early stages. If you come down on a vacation when things get back to normal, look her up, and she'll give you a fabric facial, perhaps.
That'd be great.
But anywho,
and
it
if
was
we do
just
come
really
to visit, do we get to stay in the house or do we stay in the storage unit?
Yeah, what's the
you
story
guys,
there?
you guys would stay in the house because I got
good.
a place for you.
Yeah, get tested
I got
first.
any guests that come down now. I got places for you. That's the way it goes. So I'm very happy.
I'm
And it
jealous of you
diminished-
having a storage unit. That is such a luxury to be able to get
and I
that
should
much
say,
crap out of the
here's
house.
more of a luxury. It is literally out of my community, maybe a quarter mile down the street.
Wow, ground level?
No, that's the problem.
That's
Because
what
I
they
took
get
the
you.
heavy stuff. I took the boxes of books.
Yeah.
By the way, if you
Boxes
move
of
anything,
books.
if you move
Don't need to
anything,
read here.
if you no, they've hey Oscar,
Yes.
they've been read.
Oh, you should donate them to the library.
No, I like to keep them. I like to hold on to them. I don't
It's
know
Florida.
why.
There's
but,
not a lot of
you know,
call for libraries.
No reading going on down here.
Reading. No reading.
It's gonna be close. Anyway,
So now this troubles me. Boxes of books are second only to boxes of records for sheer weight.
Yes.
So
weight,
is there an
dead weight of books killed me.
is it an
I did the
is there an
records too. I did
elevator?
the records too.
Is there an elevator?
There is an elevator.
Okay, that
but
helps.
It's the third floor. It's a third. That's the top floor. It's a third floor storage unit. And I swear to God, I think I know why she got it for $35 a month because it's left, then right, then right, then left,
Yeah.
then right, then left, then left, and then right.
But the beauty
and,
is, Mike, of the third floor unit is you get the view.
and then you have
Also-
the wobbly hand truck. You know,
Oh,
it's like,
Also, Mike,
Yeah.
think 10 years from now when the Storage Wars guys could break into your storage unit and they're like, oh my God,
James Patterson.
I'm a bid on this guy.
That's right. Books.
Let's start the
Please
bidding
you know
at
the sad, you ready for the
$5.
sad thing? You ready
Yeah.
for what's really sad
Yes.
from
Yeah.
my double hips that I had years ago? You know,
Yes.
how many canes did this guy need?
Oh no, you ran into a lot of them, did you?
That's what they said. Yes, I was a cane hoarder. I wanted one when I
great.
was recovering from my first hip surgery. I wanted one everywhere I went, and we held on to that. If that's not a reminder that you're old, you look at that.
Oh.
Hello.
Save them for
Trip,
later.
Trip sent me a real cool one. I think.
Was
I
it,
think
what
Trip
did you
sent
have
me
like
one
a
with.
purple one?
He had. I think I had a
dazzled
purple
one.
one. I had a Herman. That was Herman Cain.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. That was Herman Cain.
Yeah,
He's
the
in
super
the
spreader
storage
came.
locker in the sky.
Yes,
Yeah,
he is.
he's in a refrigerated locker.
Is that too soon?
Might be too soon.
So it's just a solid, and it diminished for a short period of time the election anxiety, which began to really in earnest. I mean, the really like last minute anxiety creep in. I can't tear myself away from watching. It's terrifying because there's so many different scenarios they're talking
Mike,
about.
When you talk about terror, and I got to ask Oscar about this because we kind of feel it out here in the suburbs, but they did a story on the news this morning, the local news. I want to play you about 45 seconds of it about preparations that are being made for Election Day. Now, this is Election Day. This is not some sort of terrorist attack what we're preparing for. This is something that's happened every 4 years since the founding of our nation. And this is what's going on, Mike. Maybe it's a good thing you're not in the District of Columbia.
So just like we saw back in June and July, we're going to see that very tall 7-foot fencing going up all the way from the White House complex down 17th Street, around Constitution Avenue, surrounding the ellipse in a sort of a fortress-like stance around the White House. We've also heard reports that the National Guard has troops on standby to augment D.C. police if indeed they are called in to do so. And downtown D.C., many of the businesses down there, it just looks like a plywood fortress. And throughout parts of D.C., we've seen businesses preparing.
All right. I can't do it. Local reporters, national reporters. You have a microphone. You have a microphone, and you can speak like I am right now. What is the necessity of raising that shrill, I'm in a panic tone?
Well, it makes the story more exciting, Mike.
No, that's not why they do it, Rob. They do it because they're excited to be on television. That's why.
That's true. This is true.
Show me a person that talks like that, and I'll show you an inexperienced person. I mean, there are great reporters who are report on the most tense thing in the world who can do so
You're right.
at a respectable tone. And then you get the
plywood forest.
I hate it. I hate it, and I don't know why. It's you know what? I wish I could go back to American University and teach a broadcast journalism delivery class.
Yeah.
Just where no matter the circumstances, if you keep yourself collected and you're not at this, it looks like a plywood fort. That's the tone that people and it drives me nuts.
You're not
It
taking
really
direction from a haircut.
That's right. Exactly. But Oscar, if we take the Melanie Olnick, oh, here we go.
How's that?
Maybe you can give us a little more information about the plywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to know, Oscar?
Well, I wanted to know what type of plywood it was and how much you're using.
Well, look, they've told you all the I said that it was a plywood fortress, and you don't need to know any more information. And I thought.
Well, why don't you describe it a little bit more for us?
Yeah,
Mike?
why don't you ask some questions,
look,
Herb?
You're there. You're there, and I'm here. And if you got any questions that you'd like, do you have a question you'd like to ask?
Sure,
ask them about why are they boarding up the stores?
Why are they boarding up the stores? Idiots in the face. That's it. Why are they boarding?
Herb Welch.
Why are they boarding up? Herb Welch. That was timely. Very good. I enjoyed that. That
Oscar,
moments like that diminish my anxiety. Moments like that help.
The panicked reporter out of it.
Yes.
What is the mood you're feeling in the city? Because I mean, if it's 1/10 of what they're projecting, it's got to be something palpable.
I got to tell you, if you still commute into the city, or you've been even that, like I would say Clover Park, Georgetown, still considered the city, but not downtown.
Right.
Downtown is completely boarded up. I'm desensitized to it. There's a fortress around all the buildings downtown that you can't even get to the front of the building unless you walk through a plywood wall.
Wow.
And then as I was pulling up today,
Is this what are there any reports, or are there any journalists,
Yes.
or are there any newspaper people, or are there is anybody online that cares to discuss the reality of why they're doing this?
Absolutely.
Are they doing this
I know why.
because
I know
why?
exactly why.
Have they said it?
yes, this is a
Have they said-
preemptive move
Against?
on the off chance that there is unrest after the election results come out.
What a lot of news people
But who
are
are they
referring to,
expecting
Mike.
the unrest from? Are they expecting the
Oh,
unrest
Mike, they're not
if the
dumb.
president is reelected?
They're not dumb enough to tell you why or how.
Why, yeah.
But that's what it
Yeah.
really is.
Yes, that's what
if
it
we,
is.
If we,
They are
if we
so
cut through the
marvelously
racist
vague.
crap, that's
Yes.
what they're really doing.
They're so marvelously vague. What they're saying is that reports have been that they have been filed for permits for what they're calling First Amendment demonstrations.
So
That's what they're saying.
The CVS across the street. First time I've seen it boarded up. Since it
But
was
am I
last
making an
robbed.
assumption? Listen,
That's right.
is this for one team or the other? Because you have expressions of violence.
I have read articles
on
that it's about both sides, both extremes.
Right.
Just in
because
case.
when you have people ramming cars on a highway,
Yeah, this isn't just
that
about
are
First
political.
Amendment rights. This is both sides,
So
both
this
extremes.
is
that they're preparing
either
for.
the people that are mad that Trump lost, or the people that are mad that Biden
Correct.
lost.
And God willing, none of that comes to fruition, and there's no violence, and we move on with our lives.
Or it
So,
might
I
be
mean, is
like a
that really
Detroit
what they're
sports
saying, or-
victory where maybe they'll get excited that their team won and they'll burn the city down because you never know how people are going to react.
I can't be that cavalier about it, Rob. It's a big deal here, and yes, is there
It's a
sense
big
of
deal on what we've become.
Yeah, is there a
It
sense?
is. It's huge.
A sense of tension? Absolutely. I visited Mama Santana yesterday, and she said, "How's downtown look?" I said, "Do you remember when we used to go to Bolivia when we were younger?" And I always ask, "Why are all these stores boarded up?" And she said, "It feels like that. It feels
Wow.
the unrest in politics that is in Latin America for a third world country who knows what type of politics they just went through now. I can't decipher that." That unrest is like what we're dealing with right now as far as people worried about what will happen. And it is sad. It is a sad state of affairs. This is why we continue to beat that drum even the day before the election, that you must vote. You must have your voice heard. You must get out and do that. It is so easy. For those of you that on either side, especially Biden's, if you think it's tight, do your part to not make it tight. Go and vote. Go and vote.
Well, I totally agree with that. And at the same time, I think that that I probably, as an American citizen, took for granted the years and years and years of peaceful elections.
Yeah.
Where did Rob go?
He just got voted out of the show, Mike.
Rob left the
he'll
show.
be back in just a few minutes.
I think that I took for granted how many years we would have an election night, and you would see it, and there would be people happy and people disappointed, but it wasn't this violent nastiness that we have everywhere. It's
and imagine if you're a small business owner, and I'm not talking about us here. I'm saying and you're on the first floor. We're on the fourth floor of a building, on both locations. But if you were on the first floor, there's an independent cafe downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think in the middle of a pandemic they have this slush fund or emergency budget to be like, oh, now we got to fortify our little cafe?
No, and it's sad. I mean, when the people that I've heard on the news are equating this to preparations for a hurricane.
Yes.
And it's just sad that has to be the way it is. And I think no matter what the result of the election, I hope that there is a peaceful reaction no matter what. And it's just it's where we've become. We're so divided, and it's so passionate. Listen, I am going to tell. I know I live in an older area, and I'm down here. But I'll use an example. This is one of the reddest counties in the state of Florida that I live in. I hang out and interact on almost a daily basis with the most passionate Trump supporters you're ever going to meet.
How do you do it?
I hang out with them because I hang out with them and I joke about it and we do it peacefully.
Yeah.
They know where I stand. I know where they stand.
Peaceful.
What I do, and this is a tip for somebody that might want to do this. Where I've gotten in trouble is when I don't know people. And I've been at fault and I regret it. I regret it on almost on a regular basis. It doesn't do any good. It didn't do anything but maybe just satisfy a little ego on my part. So I wouldn't have done it if I had a chance to do it again. I really, really wouldn't. But as far as individuals that I see, I do it with humor, and I shut down usually right away a heavy discussion. Mm-hmm. If it gets heavy, I try to be as controlled and reasonable as I can and say, well, this is the way it is. This is the way it is. And but mostly I joke. I joke about it. And even with the joking, on Friday, I left my little group early and came over here, and there were a lot of people giving me a hard time. As we get closer, as I knew it would happen, people are giving me more of a hard time. And this fellow who's a Trump supporter said, so you left pretty early the other day. I said I had a bad foot, I shot a bad score, and I wasn't going to collect any money. So I got out of Dodge. He said, oh, okay. So he understood that. But even then they thought that maybe I'm running from the situation. So I think that what I would tell people is, if you can do it, if you have people with a sense of humor, stand your ground and do so in a funny way. It doesn't take away from the fact that those people out on the highway in Texas slamming into cars. That's scary stuff, man. And shutting down highways on the Garden State Parkway, or maybe it was the New Jersey Turnpike. I'm not sure. Couple of bridges. That is strange. It's a strange place where we are.
I think that
where we will end up, I don't know.
Don't you hope that Americans see that and they like there's a fine line. And I know that we say that every time we see something crazy, but the Mad Max side where you're like, okay, enough is enough. And then you see the president on his side not denouncing it, saying
you wonder, you say to yourself, what has happened? What has happened? Well, what's happened is, look, this is not a situation where we can't resolve it as a nation. And I really think that if we are able, it's not going to change. If we have the status quo, it's going to continue. And it scares me. And, as I said, I don't even have a fallback plan. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to turn the news off. I think I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to, and I think a lot of people will, and then we're done, I think, because then we've ceded, to the side that was louder and more obnoxious. We've done that, And
still
somebody said,
hope.
More obnoxious, Mike? What are you talking about that? Everybody wants to talk about looters and rioters. That's what everybody on one side seems to want to talk about. And, I am saying in the areas where there have been riots and there have been looting, I think you have people that it would be easy to argue have been economically disenfranchised for generations. So if I'm a person that's growing up in a neighborhood without hope, where I don't care about my behavior because you know what? I'm being, I think, given a raw deal from the minute I came out of the womb. And I'm in an area where there's crime. It's a different world. So you can't lump everybody in. I don't lump the people running people off the road in Texas to the same people that are reacting because of the pent-up anger that's been there. I'm not justifying it at all. I'm saying that that's where it happens. That's where it seems to go down. But every time I talk about those idiots that were on the road slamming into a car and trying to run a bus off the road, I get, well, what about the rioters and looters? Everything has to be a yin and a yang. Everything has to be an equivalency. And I don't buy into that it's an equivalency. I don't think when you got a $50,000 truck with a flag and you're running a car off the road, it's the same as when you're, in a horrible, horrible neighborhood and you have an opportunity to go down the street and you're so angry and it's just you're disenfranchised. It's a totally different socioeconomic level. I know that's. I'm not trying to justify, and I don't justify the looters. I think lock up the rioters and the looters. Absolutely, it's just you can't compare a person that's doing a political rally or waving a political flag with somebody that's probably coming out with a roll of toilet paper.
But aren't we on both sides generalizing that argument to say that we know exactly why certain people are doing what?
No, I'll tell you why I don't think we are, because it seems to me that when you're in the rioting, the circumstances that precipitate the rioting are not political. They are police actions where someone got shot or someone got killed, and that's what started. I mean, the George Floyd started this movement in America. But the initial reaction to George Floyd, when people aren't prosecuted, that comes from out of that. I don't know. I don't know necessarily if those people are all waving Biden flags. Polls would show that they're not.
But see, maybe I'm looking through a different lens. The majority of the demonstrations were not riots or looting. They just weren't.
Right.
As far as
the
civil rights marches that were
very,
went out
very
this country.
Small amount of the overall burning, looting, that type of thing.
So I mean, I just want to highlight that doesn't mean if you're marching, that if there's a march, if there isn't a riot, there is not a looting. There's not looting going on. I just want to make sure that we clarify that.
No, DC was the best example of that. Right? I mean, I'm just saying that's what's said to me, and I find that offensive. When when you're talking about people going out and go woohoo, and won't it be fun to get in the truck and go out on the highway because this person's there's the bus. Right. I would imagine those people in that bus were scared out of their goddamn minds in that situation. It's just, where have we become? And that's why people are boarding up buildings because it's so crazy. But I'm here to say that down here, I've already kind of noodled it through, and I think everybody, listen, I don't care what side you're on. If you're a partisan, if this means a lot to you, keep it together, folks. Keep it together. And I hate to say this, but I have to. No matter what the outcome, I'm talking to myself as much as anybody. Keep it together. It's why, look, if it doesn't go your way, it didn't go your way because not enough people voted for your team. And that's just the reality. It's what we have. What's it going to be like?
You've always said something that I think is really cool, is that one of the greatest things about our system is the peaceful transfer of power at the close of a president's administration. But it goes both ways. It has to also be the peaceful continuation of power, because it's our system, and it may be flawed in ways, but it's what we've got, and it's the best that there is. And we need to stand by our system, because that's what we've put in place.
With that said, that doesn't
you can't be a sore loser.
That doesn't diminish anxiety. You're welcome to all the anxiety you want.
Yeah, help yourself. It's free. Don't cost nothing.
But do you anticipate any trouble in the nation's capital on election? And under what scenario would you think there would be trouble? I hate to put that pressure on you, but I am putting that pressure.
I think all bets are off. I got to be honest with you, because it's the nation's capital. It's the capital of the free world. Right. If you're looking for press, if you're looking for...
all eyes are on it, yeah.
If you're looking for any type of attention, you would do that in front of the White House, whether you're celebrating a win for your team or you're upset about the outcome of the election. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they're staging for, the city in itself. Because
let's ask a young person here, Maddie Masiello. Maddie, what is your feeling about all of this that we're talking about in this lead up to one of the tensest elections of our time?
Well, for me, it's kind of hard, too, because you don't want to be angry. But at the same time, in 2016, like Hillary won the popular vote. Like, it's the system itself sometimes that's upsetting. And when you have the president also saying, threatening using the Supreme Court to win, when you have interference from other countries, it's hard.
It's hard. It's a hard time, and it'll go down in the history books. Look, I don't know how history is going to judge this time, but I think I have a pretty decent idea with all of that. And but I will tell you the anthem from both sides. If you want to find common ground, you know what the common ground is? I think everybody is ready for this to be over.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Everybody.
And there will
ready.
be a show on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
There will definitely be a show on Wednesday. And Robb Spiewak, I need you to gather tomorrow all the as many election stagers as you can possibly find for our election special tomorrow. Election Day special on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Vote
it's a very
2020.
special Mike O'Mara show tomorrow where we will have
Yo vote
that.
2020.
Decision
What's that?
2020.
Yo vote 2020.
Is that Spanish?
Yes. I'm just
It's
giving all
cute.
angles.
It's cute when he speaks Spanish, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
My mom and she's been driving people against all COVID protocol to the polls. Just she's the Yo vote snow dog. She'll take all these people in her Lexus to the polls, and I'm like, Mom, remember when you're not supposed to see anybody? Because they all have masks on. We roll down the windows. Good for her.
Yeah, roll down the windows. That helps.
I'm trying to find. I'm looking through all of my soundboards, and I know on one of them I have my election music. I know on one.
I remember it. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it right now. Oh, here it is. This is it. This is good. You'll like this. No, that's
That sounds like fun.
You have to get the most electoral votes without going over, right?
Who's the winner? It's a new car.
Full stager. I like
Mike,
that.
how about this one? This is a good one.
This just in. Breaking news. That's very old, though.
It is,
That's
but it's a
very,
classic.
very
That's
Perfect for Herb.
It is good for Herb Welch.
Herb.
What do you want to know for?
So you're at the White House. How many people are at the fence?
A bunch of them.
What are they saying?
Yeah, could you talk to them?
They're saying that they're angry, Oscar. Listen, you're there, and you don't know what's going on. Do you think anybody remembers what we're referring to, Rob?
I bet
I
you
do.
they do.
Absolutely. Yes, of course.
I'm trying to find it. I can't. God, I try to find. There's too much stuff. I have like 50 soundboards.
I remember, but I remember when you got those news stagers, they were great.
Mike,
Yeah,
will you keep an eye out for and you'll start seeing them this evening. You might have seen them a little bit yesterday in the Sunday morning shows for like Meet the Press, etc. The new sets, the new election sets they have set up.
Very exciting.
For each, from a production standpoint, I always like seeing how they like really spice up or change around a current set they have to look like something else.
Right.
So keep an eye on that. You can spot them.
Well,
Mike,
you know,
this
look,
is a
I will
little
keep
more
an eye, but
current.
we've got it. Hold on, Rob, I've got it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mike O'Mara Show, Election Central. As of now, the polling is showing a very, very... There you go.
I like that one.
Is the map purple?
This is Brian Williams. What's shaping up to be a very interesting and busy evening. Thank you very much. Moving on. I got 'em all.
I can't wait for tomorrow's show when you run a stager and you say, Oscar, Florida, Florida, Florida.
This is the one that's kind of the mellow one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the 4 years, and now 4 more. 4 more years.
Oh, no.
4 more years of this. Yes, sir. It should be very fun. Yeah.
That's for the Mike Pence biography piece.
We go to Texas, where the Biden bus has been run into a ditch by a guy with a really big flag. Yeah, that's all. That's all I have. So that's it. What's the new recording? Let me see.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, that's the new Meet the Press theme.
Dun 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 dun.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess we can.
I
guess
that.
we can start this show.
You
now.
wanna start?
I did
Okay.
too. That was a palate cleanser. Start
That was
the
a good
show.
Pelican.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business. From the entertainment capital of the world.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Robb Spiewak, Oscar Santana. And now, from his easy chair, here's Mike.
We are live from the Podcast Village studios in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. The Mike O'Mara Show is on now. Thank you all so much for your continued support over these many years. We appreciate it. From Los Lunas, New Mexico, Jarvinsburg, North Carolina, Altoona, Iowa, Chance, Virginia, Prineville, Oregon, and I knew I'd screw it up. Dhulakel, Nepal.
Exactly.
You have a place in Nepal? I think it's something about Mary. Yeah, I'm an architect. Oh, did you design the Estadio Olimpico? Anyway, the Mike O'Mara Show is on now and brought to you by Harry's. Oh, I love my Harry's. Loved it just a few moments ago. I was skimming across my fat chin with my Harry's razor and loved it. They just came out with their sharpest blades ever, and unlike some other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each, and new U.S. customers can redeem a trial offer of Harry's new sharper blades by going to harrys.com/TMOS. These new blades are so sharp that in a study with guys shaving 4 times a week, they reported with their 8th shave, it was as smooth as their first.
I think
but
that's
how?
a low. I think that's a low estimate because I've used Harry's
fantastic.
blades for months. They're fantastic.
Yep, they're the best. Harry's owns a German factory, makes those great razor blades. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process from R&D to the factory floor. And if anybody messes with Harry's, Goldfinger comes in with his laser and burns them up. It's very exciting. Our listeners can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/TMOS. You'll get a 5-blade razor featuring their new sharper blades, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, a travel cover to protect your blade when you're on the go. Just go to harrys.com/TMOS and redeem your trial offer today. Yeah, over the weekend we lost Sean Connery. We'll have more on him in news you may not need. 90 years young. But unfortunately died in the Bahamas, not too far from here. And, really hit me a little bit. I was sitting there. When you've got a guy that even into his later years was such a macho movie man, you know what I mean? One of the real men of the movies. One of the guys, I was saying this to Carla, that was the personification of the term men want to be with him, guys want to be like him. Yeah. That was just
guys might want to be with him.
And guys, thank you for being politically correct.
If he just says please.
It was just, really a bummer. If you want to see, one of my saddest moments in the movies, one of the saddest death scenes, is that Sean Connery death scene in Untouchables, because his character is so tough, but such a decent, good guy. Yeah. And I'll miss Sean Connery, the only James Bond. As far as I'm concerned, the only real James Bond. I think
as time goes on, and if you try to watch a Roger Moore James Bond movie, it's not the same. Roger Moore
at all.
He just can't pull it. For one thing, he always looked too old to be James Bond, even when he was young. I don't know how. It was just bad casting, I guess.
Daniel Craig is great, but Sean Connery will always be James Bond to me. I was a child, a small child, and I had the Corgi, not Matchbox. I believe it was the Corgi Aston Martin that had the plastic push buttons on it, that had the plastic little razor blades that came out of the tire, that had the button that you pushed where the metal bulletproof shield went up, and had the plastic button that you pressed where the machine guns came out.
An amazingly advanced toy James for the Bond. Day. It was great. Also, I think that the reason... I got it
on my 18th birthday. No, I'm kidding.
It was James Bond. I think the actual character that I sort of associate with James Bond, and I agree, I like Daniel Craig a lot, But like if you go back to Dr. No and Goldfinger, James Bond best exists in that time frame of history because I don't see the character really working in modern times as well. And that's why I think I like the Sean Connery iteration.
Oh, my God. I watched over the weekend, Michael and I watched Goldfinger. We started to watch From Russia with Love, but it sucked. I didn't like From Russia with Love.
Goldfinger is the best Bond film by far.
Goldfinger is the best Bond film, but still the rampant sexism in the James Bond franchise, which is just from frame one to the end of the movie. It really is. But really just, and if you look at From Russia with Love, the character in Austin Powers, the lady, the tough lady, the head doctor. It's just look, the whole Sean Connery deal.
Did you all mention The Hunt for Red October?
Oh, another great one. I watched that a bunch too.
Yeah.
And also Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's the one with him, I believe, the third Indiana Jones movie. He brought a lot of he brought some real like a weightiness to the movie because he's such a great actor
That's a great word. Yeah, the weightiness of it because he just, when he's the commander of the Red October, that is truly, it's just, what a decent, tough guy he is. I don't know. It's hard to describe that kind of presence. There isn't a lot of it over the decades. You can't get a guy that has that kind of movie presence that I think Gene Hackman in his own way has that kind of, takes over the screen. George Clooney's a great actor. Brad Pitt, as he's getting older, I think brings a little of that. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt when he's out there at the TV ranch beating the crap out of the guy that won't change his tire.
It seems to be rarer and rarer anymore. And I think that you see it because I know you you made your early bread and butter doing impressions. Harder to do impressions nowadays because the characters that people play and the actors that we see on
just aren't enough chances to do it. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Now, I should mention the TV actors, but also there's some on TV that have that kind of heaviness, and, the man's man. James Corden is a great example. I'm just kidding. Let's take a break, and we will figure this out, and we will come back with more fun because we have a lot to talk about. I want to tell you about Halloween in the Hood and why people suck when we come back right here on the Mike O'Mara Show, everybody. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Brought to you by KiwiCo. The holidays may look a little different this year, but one fact remains. Kids still want stuff.
Stuff.
If you think it's impossible to get your kid, grandchild, niece, nephew, or little cousin to put down that cell phone or video game and do something that's good for their brain, you're wrong. Let's talk about KiwiCo. KiwiCo delivers hands-on science and art projects for kids of all ages. It makes them think. With KiwiCo, kids can engineer a walking robot, design a paint pendulum, conduct bubbling chemistry experiments, and more, all from the comfort of their home. Plus, there's no commitment, so you can pause or cancel anytime. I still love that KiwiCo got my son interested in astronomy. Unbelievable, and he loved it. KiwiCo is redefining learning with hands-on projects that build confidence, creativity, and critical thinking skills. There's something for every kid or kid at heart at KiwiCo. Get 50% off your first month of free shipping on any crate. You can use the code TMOS at KiwiCo.com. That's 50% off your first month at KIWICO.com. Promo code TMOS. All right. We took a short break there to check Robb's connectivity. And during that discussion, sometimes when you're doing these internet broadcasts that you and everybody's from their own home, we call it the pipe, and there might be more than one person on line in the house that can actually affect connectivity. It happens. It happens. It happened to me all the time. So as we're having the discussion with Robb, right before we came back on the air, because Robb, so far, his connectivity is fine, Robb said to us, the only outlier is that I recently connected an internet radio weather station to my system. And well, hold on, let me finish, and then you can explain before you start defending. I have to say, he said an internet weather station. And I said, if there is one human being who would be less in need of an internet weather station, it would be Robb Spiewak. The last time I checked, you weren't planning on taking your Piper Cub up to Hagerstown for lunch. What the hell? What, you have an internet? What?
I need to over-explain, or I under-explain to begin with. What it is I needed an alarm clock, okay, for my nightstand. Because the one that I had was a piece of crap to begin with 10 years ago. The brand of it was Magnasonic. Not Panasonic, not Magnavox, Magnasonic. It was horrible. But I loved it because it projected the time on the ceiling. And I love this feature because if you wake up in the middle of the night, and as I get older, I'm doing this more and more because you have to attend to things, I can look up and see what time it is and not have to look and see what's on the clock.
Magnasonic.
That's the brand. So
Magnasonic.
my mom had a weather station / clock / it does everything that she really liked. I'm finding the brand right now. It's Lacrosse.
On the ceiling.
So I went on to the Walmart website and I found me a Lacrosse alarm clock that projects the time on the scene. But if you normally have one that does the outside temperature, it normally comes with like a sensor that you put a battery in.
Outside temperature.
And you put it on, mounted on your deck or whatever. So this Magnasonic.
Magnasonic. Sorry.
So this one actually is a Wi-Fi connection that it picks up your network, and then it connects to the Lacrosse website network.
Yeah.
Network.
Magnasonic.
And then it tells you the temperature outside, and you don't have to have a sensor outside. Well, it was a tremendous pain in the ass to get it to find my Wi-Fi network, and I
in the ass.
I had to call Comcast and say, I'm on a 5.0 internet or Wi-Fi system, and this requires 2.4.
Breathe, Rob, breathe. I'm trying to do stick here. When you do your 40-minute run-on sentences, it's hard for me to say, cable guy.
Well, it was impossible to get it on my network. Because my Wi-Fi was 5.0.
5.0.
And I needed, Oscar, 2.4.
All right.
So they split it into two different Wi-Fis in my house.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
And but I just wanted it to, what about the old days you just wind up a clock?
You said to us when we were talking about connectivity, you said it was a weather station. And
but
so
it was a weather station. It predicts the weather.
Okay. Calm down.
Like something that's outside.
I didn't picture all these antennae, little windsock on top of his house, that's like, Carrie, Rob's going into hello, Howard Bernstein. It's Robb Spiewak. I'm out here in Leesburg. Wanted to check in with you.
It's like somehow he wiggled his way into the Channel 7 weather station, and they were going to pay him like $10 a month to have this little weather station.
Robb Spiewak. If Robb had gone into TV instead of radio, Robb would have been a perfect Willard. Same personality. Same look. It would have been. He would have. By the way, Willard Scott, long since gone. Willard Scott was the Today Show weatherman for years and years and years.
Yes,
a lot of people in America don't remember Willard. I remember Willard.
That's sad.
He sold jams, right?
Smucker's Jam.
Oh, yeah.
What was the longtime sponsor of the weather on the Today Show, and he do the. They don't. Do they do the 100-year-old birthdays anymore? Does Al Roker do that?
Do.
I think COVID killed that bit.
No, Roker killed it. Of course he did.
No, COVID.
But anyway.
COVID.
Al
COVID.
Well, they're just more of them.
Yeah, that's right.
That's terrible. That's very harsh.
But also, Willard
If you don't laugh, you cry, Mike.
Willard created the character of Ronald McDonald as well, and he was Bozo in Washington, D.C. He's a storied broadcaster.
We were doing, I think, a broadcast at Disney, and Willard came on the show, and Willard did just a lot of shtick, and he was super nice, and a very nice man, very, very nice man, and then retired to Sanibel, Florida, where I think he passed away. Didn't Willard pass a few years ago?
I thought he's still around, no?
No,
Is Willard still alive?
I'll find out. Let me
check.
Hey,
Mr. Death, how do you know? How do you practically have, you actually have a moment of lust when somebody loses it, but you don't remember when they died.
Well, it's hard. It's hard for TV, especially TV anchors. It's tough for me to even quantify them gone because you're so used to seeing them on. I know that he's not on the Today Show. And he hasn't been for a while, but I just figured that they stopped doing it.
I think he might have died.
I thought he had, but according to Wikipedia, he is alive and 86 years old.
So sorry, Willard. I'm so sorry. Willard's just not on the magic box anymore.
That's right.
I'm really embarrassed.
He stopped being
That's
active
terrible.
in 2015.
Willard is not. Willard, what's that? 2015.
He stopped being active in 2015, so he's been out of the public eye for 5 years. It's understood.
And how old is Willard?
86.
86. He was born in Alexandria, Virginia. I did not know that.
Wow. And did a radio show, famous in radio history, The Joy Boys.
Oh, yeah. Very popular.
Ed Walker. Ed Walker passed away, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude Walker is still alive.
Dude Walker is alive, yes. Thank you, Oscar.
Dude Walker is still alive.
Yeah, still alive. You know, it's funny as we get older, I wonder if people are like,
we forget everything.
Is Mike O'Mara still alive? Yes, I am.
Every time we run Best Of, that's the question.
Just worry about finding out if Ed Walker's alive or dead.
Ed Walker died in 2015.
Oh,
that's right.
October 26th of 2015.
Damn.
Right. And didn't he speak to your class at AU at one point?
No.
Ed Walker?
What happened was the NPR Ed Walker had a show on NPR, and one of my American University broadcast classes went over to NPR to watch how the news operation ran, and we watched Ed Walker through the glass running his show. And a man that was visually challenged had been. I think had a life of blindness. He did not see for years and years, and he did the show, the radio show, by touch and records and playing everything. I thought it was amazing to watch. He was a talented guy. Very, very talented guy. Ed Walker had that kind of voice.
Great voice.
Not like Herb. Not like Herb.
No, not very different than Herb.
Herb was more, I don't have But anyway, Willard, sorry for saying you were dead. I am very, very sorry about that.
You said you meant it with all respect. You meant it though.
I did. I did. But it gets back to your weather station is actually just a fancy alarm clock.
Pretty much that hooks up to a real weather station and transmits the information via Wi-Fi to my clock.
So that's why you need the internet connectivity.
Yeah, but I unplugged it, so it should not be affecting us now.
But you don't wake up in the morning. You don't wake up in the morning and go, Carrie, I would wear an extra layer today because the barometric pressure is really, really tough.
Yeah, the dew point's at 83%.
And that's all I use except for that big thing with 3 spinning balls and the electricity on my deck. Other than that, I just use that for the weather.
All right, when we come back, I'll tell you all about Halloween, but I also want to talk about this kind of connectivity. And I don't know whether it's election or what, or whether the creatures are out there doing stuff. I'm getting a bad vibe about Rob's got it. I've got it a little bit down here watching streaming video at night. Very strange. I want to know if anybody in our audience is experiencing that. We'll take a break, come back with more on The Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to The Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Freshly. We've all spent a lot of time at home in the past few months. A lot. Well, now, if you're like me, you're plenty tired of cooking all around the clock. Enough already. How about Freshly? Yum, 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 yum. Ready to go. Pop it in the microwave. You are set to go. Freshly understands that food needs to be delicious, healthy, and simple. Right? Am I right about that? Right. With Freshly, you can avoid the grocery store and enjoy fully prepared dinners delivered fresh, not frozen, right to your door. Freshly chefs and nutritionists do all the hard work. All you do is heat for 3 minutes and dinner is done. Oscar lives on them. Got a fridge full of
people.
them.
Everybody knocks me for not having an oven. I don't need one when I have Freshly. I got a microwave. In less than 3 minutes, I've got a gourmet meal sitting there waiting for me. I love it.
Just choose a plan that works for you. Take a break from all that cooking. Whether you crave comfort foods, feel better foods, or something from your personal home bistro. Ooh. Freshly has what you want every time. You're going to love Freshly. Join the almost 1.5 million satisfied Freshly customers and skip the shopping, the prepping, the cooking, and the cleanup. Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off their first 2 orders at freshly.com/TMOS. Don't wait. That's freshly.com/TMOS. Yes, streaming video. Trying to watch this show, Queen's Gambit, which we will or will not get to today. But it's been quitting on me at night, and then I'll get up in the morning, and I've got great connectivity, And then Robb's having problems today. Should I be paranoid? Is there some national hacking going on?
I hate that you've played into this this sort of sinister side of it. That could it be election related? Could it be? I hadn't even thought of that. But I mean,
broke up on me then. Is it? Could it be election related?
You've planted the seed of doubt.
Mike, I can give you some context.
Yes.
I feel like there's a couple things at play. One, there is a lot to be said about our internet providers really being taxed on a higher level than they ever have even could have predicted this year, especially with the pandemic and everybody working from home. Is Zoom built for the type of really back and forth and volume that you have every day from the business world and the school world? Are they scaling up fast enough? Can they? I would say that they've done a pretty damn good job of keeping it stable. It's done wonders, right? We had one week when we switched to Skype for a little bit, but then we could switch to Zoom. No big deal.
Right.
Might go back to Skype. Are you okay? Or are you going to throw up?
No. What it is for me? I'm sorry. I just took a chug of Red Bull and I was about to burp, but I wanted to stop myself. So it was a fight. What I want to highlight is, unless you have a network administrator, someone in your home, or someone you're willing to bring to your home to govern exactly what gets what, and by that I mean, Mike, you probably don't know this, you can set up your internet to say, okay, all of the juice that, like 50% of all my internet bandwidth, let's say the juice that's going to make the internet work is going to go to Zoom. And that's all it's going to do. And everything else gets the rest of the 50%.
So like a budget.
So you budget your internet. You can do that, but then you also have to let a creep into your network and let them govern that all day.
I thought we had our own creep.
We do have our own creep, but we don't have a creep down where Robb is. A creep is where you are, Mike, and a creep is where we are.
Oh, so Pony, are you like monitoring my thing every day still?
I'm not watching it creepily, but occasionally if I have to mess with stuff, sure.
Yes.
So you got capability to mess with it.
He knows when you're on the hub all day long.
Well, let's do that for Robb too. Maybe. I mean, although
Robb's heading back next week, so no problem.
Robb's back. You're back to work.
He'll be in studio
to celebrate the spike. I'll be in studio.
Oh, you're not playing that card. You go to a liquor store every day,
How do you feel about it? Be honest. How do you really feel about it?
No, I'm actually, I'll be excited to see some faces again. I will not relish the commute, but you know what? I'll get back caught up on podcasting, listen to that stuff, have some time in the car, and get to be in studio. It'll be nice. It'll be good.
All right. Okay. Yeah. He hates it, by the way.
Yeah.
I speak, Robb.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's okay. So Halloween in the Hood. Let me explain that this is the way Halloween went down with my son. First of all, I should say that we were excited because there are kids in the neighborhood, and we were pretty aware that there would probably be trick-or-treating here. Followed up by an email where the lady that runs the community here, one of the employees, she's one employee, handles like car stickers for access and that type of stuff.
She must be fun.
She's wonderful. She's lovely. And she sends out an email saying trick-or-treating begins at 6:30. In the event that you are planning to give out candy, leave your lights on. That's how you will do it.
Sure.
And if you're not, please, if you wouldn't mind keeping your lights out for a couple of hours while there's trick-or-treating so people know. So that's fine. Then they put a sign up in the front of the community that says trick or treat. I'm like, oh, this is cool. We're going to finally be in an area where it's safe and we can go out and say hi to neighbors and everything's going to be great. Followed by he gets an invite from one of his buddies who lives in another community, a much more kid-friendly community where there are kids on top of kids on top of and people on top of people. I tell Carla, no. In our community where where we're riding around in a golf cart with him in the seat and he can run in and run out and he's got a mask on and then he washes his hands when he gets home and we do that, that's okay. I'm not out with going to the super dense community where it's all about managing the risk, and there's risk with everything. There's risk with trick-or-treating, but this is a lower risk. So he ends up being perfectly cool. Friday, I tell him. Then I say, hey, you know what? Let's drive around the neighborhood and see who's got Halloween decorations up.
Sure.
They'll definitely be handing out Halloween candy. And we roll out, and we see this, and he gets all excited. So that's it. It's determined that Saturday night is going to be Halloween night. We put a little decoration on the golf cart. Carly gets these little flashing orange lights. We're ready to go out, and we determine within 2 minutes that our particular street in this community is no different than Casketville across the way, where everybody's waiting to die. Nobody gives a rat's ass about children. They don't want to be bothered, and everybody's locked up tight. Overall, he had a nice evening. We got into other sections of the community where there were more children, but overall, these people down here that don't want to be bothered, and you know what? I just wish, look, you don't have to have grandma and grandpa living in the farmhouse and everybody doing everything together, but it just would be nice to have a little more community and a little more. And they're just people that, is it really in a community like ours where many people just put a table out and said, Happy Halloween, take one.
Please take one, yeah.
And there are dozens of people that did that. Is it that much of an effort for, and the worst people of all, in my opinion, the people that have Halloween decorations on their mailbox, have a little plastic pumpkin, and then they're locked up tight with 2 cars in the driveway. F you and the horse you rode in. Really.
What's your outlook on egging those cars?
I think the community is not only insular, but it's small, and that would probably be problematic. And I'll wait to goose him with that when he's 12 or 13. It was, but the winner, but I'm not going to dwell because I'm not one to dwell on the negative, all right? But my buddy, and I'll mention him by name, my buddy Mitch, who was there with his wife, Teresa, and they had, Mitch had mentioned to me they want to see what Michael's wearing. And this is a phenomenal golfer. Great guy. Yeah. One of these New Englanders that's got that kind of voice. Just terrific guy. And really funny. And we get down to his house, gives Michael candy, checks him out, and he comes back, and Carla says, look what he got. And he's got a fast food, Culver's, which is one of the fast food chains that sells that custard, a $10 gift certificate. Winner.
Oh, that's awesome.
I swear to you. It was terrific.
That's
it made
cool.
up for a lot of the people that, by the way, that we knew you were home, locked up tight, including my neighbor across the way, which was a guarantee.
Like
knew you were home. Knew you were home.
City,
I just don't like it. I've always railed against it.
It's a different take in the city. And I think you got to give people a pass, especially with COVID involved. And this is your first trick. This is your first trick or treating in the new neighborhood. So I get that you get
anybody a pass.
You give everybody. You get everybody excited because you're like, it's a real neighborhood. You can trick or treat in your own neighborhood. So your son's super excited for that, right? Your son's excited about that. In the city, nothing has changed. I actually thought no one was going to trick or treat because you've got this whole election looming over. There are every Highline store and even the CVS's are all boarded up. I'm like, this doesn't scream, hey, let's go to strangers' houses.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I saw dozens of kids walking around the city with their costumes on, with their parents. And I don't know if they had some sort of map set up on Nextdoor who was a Halloween-friendly house. Right. But it seemed to me that they knew right away.
Oh, you mean the Does Anyone Know a website? They ought to rename Nextdoor to Does Anyone Know a? 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 The land of the lazy.
And Mike, there's
you
a
got
subset.
An internet, you lazy fat.
There's a
fuck.
subset tab on that is, has anybody seen my?
Has anybody seen my? Does anyone know a? God, I need someone to clean my house.
I thought it was free furniture. Must pick up by end of day.
I got a couple thumbs down on Nextdoor. I might have said this. I don't know. But does anyone know a good source for firewood? And I wrote trees.
Did you really?
Yes.
Did you really?
I did.
I love that. Look what this guy wrote. Look what this guy wrote.
Look at this jackass.
You had a few. Did you hand out any candy?
No, Mike. There was an awkward back and forth with my neighbor. No. Shannon and I hid in the backyard with our solo stove, lit, and made some s'mores.
You were the stove.
But both of us. And we walked out to go get the s'mores, get the like toddlers, get the marshmallows and everything to just hang out with Santos in the backyard.
Kind of cute.
And I saw my neighbors and all their kids dressed up. They have 3 kids. And I'm like, hey, they're like, happy Halloween. And I like, that awkward Kool-Aid guy when you break through the wall and then you walk right back out.
So did you, you strike me as the kind of guy that would like to sit on his stoop and hand out candy to the kids.
I would have, except for that Halloween 3 years ago when the hood of my car got stomped in.
Oh, that's it. You had the bad experience when somebody jumped on the hood of your car.
That's
it. Valid. You're getting lots of free passes today, Oscar. But I'm giving you the judge and juries are siding with the plaintiff today.
Mike, and I was the villain. I was the villain in our neighborhood. I shut everything down because I normally one of my things was to hand out beers to parents as they trick or treated, but it's always a challenge because we had a dog, we had Linus, and an extra dog that go crazy anytime there's a knock at the door. So we shut the whole thing down, turned off our lights. And when Julia got home from work that night, she said, "Wow, I've never felt less welcome coming home." She said that everything was dark. But
so you just didn't want to deal with it?
Didn't want to deal with it. And as I looked down the street,
no free pass for you, Rob. No free pass for you. My kids have grown up. I don't have to do it anymore. Selfish. So selfish.
Yeah, you're so jolly, too.
Well, I was jolly. I was watching The Legend of
Was
Sleepy
it warm
Hollow
enough to sit outside, like in your driveway?
It was cold. It was a cool night.
It was chilly. It was definitely cold.
Yeah.
Put the dogs in the bathroom and sit on your stoop or something. Put a parka on. Hand out candy. For Christ's sake. Yeah. Guilty. Thank you very much.
Villain.
Jury has spoken. That's it. That's how it goes.
Mike, the weather station said do not hand out candy.
Do not hand out. It's too cold. Too cold. Yeah. What, do you just sit in your basement and drink? Did you and Carrie spend time together?
Actually, what we did is one of the kids that special needs kids that she babysits, he was really bummed out because he couldn't trick or treat. So we had him over and had some food and watched The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So that was his Halloween.
Now the jury has spoken again, and you've been reprieved. You've gotten a reprieve on that.
Yeah, but
that was very, very sweet.
He has never seen the Disney version with Ichabod Crane, and it's so cool to watch a youngster see it for the first time.
It's animated, right?
Yeah, it's great. Narrated by Bing Crosby.
How old is the kid?
He is 17.
So he was able to handle the content then.
Yeah. He was great kid.
Awesome.
Max.
All right. We will take a break, and we will come back with more fun and more thrills on the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Hey, Election Day is tomorrow.
Yes.
Wow. Let that sink in. Tomorrow. It's finally over. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you have a chance to make a difference. Do you get the picture? Do you understand? Do they teach you that here? I mean, I'm serious. We have to realize that we're all created equal. Our country is founded on that principle. Politicians and billionaires, one vote. You got it too.
That's right.
If you're sitting on the sidelines for this one, shame on you. Really, you're as powerful as anybody because it's your vote. It's your privilege. It's your duty. Make sure that America lives up to its promise of equality. Plan to vote tomorrow. Any questions? Anyone? Come on now. We all know how important it is. If you've already voted, I say congratulations. If you haven't, get out there and do it. All the information you need can be found at vote.org. That's where you go if you have any last-minute questions about whether you can and where you can and how you can. If you can, help and encourage your neighbors to get to the polls. They're important, too. Exercise your right, please. You have a voice. Make sure it's heard. Tuesday, November 3rd. That's tomorrow, Election Day. And vote because the future depends on you. And for those of you that have voted, I say salute and we thank you.
News.
Boo. Say now, mon you. Well, we mentioned it in the beginning. Rob had a little vignette about Sean Connery. He died in his sleep on Halloween morning. He was 90 years old. There's no official cause of death, but his son said he'd been unwell for some time. And yesterday, his wife revealed that he was suffering from dementia in his final years. That's unfortunate. She said, quote, "I was with him all the time. It took its toll on him. He got his final wish to slip away without any fuss. It was no life for him. He was not able to express himself recently. He will be honored in a private funeral ceremony with a memorial to follow. Connery is most famous for being the first one to play James Bond on the big screen. That was Dr. No back in '62. He also starred in the Bond movies From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and Diamonds Are Forever. He later played Bond in the 1983 movie Never Say Never. I remember that. Remember when he came back and everybody's like, can he come back? Yeah, he could.
Of course.
Because he still had that. He still had the it factor. I was such a big fan of Sean Connery's. Based on the novel Thunderball, that was not produced by Eon Productions, which had done all 25 movies in the main Bond series. More information than we needed about Bond. Interesting fact, Connery's wife suggested the title for Never Say Never Again because after making Diamonds Are Forever, Sean vowed never to make another Bond film. but 12 years later, he agreed to that one. Connery's other major movie roles included a great movie, if you ever want to see it, The Man Who Would Be King from 1975, A Bridge Too Far in 1977, Highlander in 86, The Untouchables. You got to see that one if you like Sean Connery, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The Hunt for Red October is also on that list. Dragonheart, The Rock, Finding Forrester. He retired from acting in 2006, although he did do a few choice voiceovers after that. His role in The Untouchables landed him an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. And on a less serious note, People magazine voted him both the sexiest man alive in 1989 and the sexiest man of the century in 1999. That's why I liked him. He was so damn sexy.
Mike, I was going to use this in the audio vault, but it fits so nicely here. This is Sean Connery and director Terrence Young. I think Terrence Young directed 3 of the early Bond movies, but there's something in here that I did not know about the character of Bond. Here's Sean Connery talking about his legendary role.
Bond. James Bond. Nobody could believe when I did it in 1962, I think the first one was, Dr. No, that it could ever possibly be shot today. And they'll probably go on.
Originally, Cary Grant was asked to do it, and he said, yes, I'll do 1, but I won't do 2. I won't do a series. So then they got a hold of James Mason, and James said he'd do 2, but he wouldn't do 3. So they decided they'd have to go with an unknown, and there were 5 people who were tested, and Sean's was far away the best test.
He took me on the trip to get our clothes and everything, and it was an eye-opener. The budget on the clothes was astronomical in relation to the film, but he was right, Terence, because there was a look about it. We had shoes handmade at Lobs, and no cufflinks, special fold-back button, and I used a Windsor knot.
It would have been different if James Mason had taken the role.
Oh. It would have been a flop.
It would have been horrible.
You needed that guy. You needed that badass factor, you know? That's incredible. Lori Loughlin from Full House arrived at the Big House on Friday. I love that sentence. To start her 2-month jail sentence for the college admissions scandal that she got wrapped up in last year. She and her husband cut a deal in May to plead guilty on fraud charges after they paid $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into the University of Southern California. Aunt Becky got 2 months in jail plus 2 years probation. Her husband got 5 months but hasn't started his jail sentence yet. She's in a low-security federal prison just outside San Francisco, and it sounds like she won't get out early, which means she'll likely spend Christmas in jail. The only way that won't happen is if there's a COVID outbreak at the jail, and Christmas music. And her judge grants early release. That doesn't sound likely. Lori will be in isolation. By the way, that's Lori.
Of course it is.
Will be in isolations for the first 2 weeks just to make sure she doesn't bring the virus with her. As far as prisons go, doesn't sound too bad, but it's still prison. She'll be in a jumpsuit, and she'll also have a job like clerical work, kitchen work, or general cleaning. Wake up is 5 a.m. and lights out 9 p.m. every night. It also has some perks like exercise classes.
Nice.
No. Exercise classes, tennis courts, ping pong tables, and 1 TV that everyone shares.
Bet they don't watch Full House.
Seems to. She should get out right before New Year's Eve. There's that. Good luck. Good luck with you.
It was a long road, right? It was almost a year and a half.
Yeah, and then she's going to the Big House. You know,
I was wrong. I thought they were going to get off. I was completely wrong.
I wonder if she'll go watch TV with the general population. You wonder about stuff like that.
No, but she will be the ping pong champ.
Very good. Thank you. I don't think I'm breaking any new ground here by saying this, but tomorrow is not your average election day. I think you know that. True. According to a new survey, more than half of Americans say they're expecting tomorrow to be the most stressful day of their lives. The survey, I'm not really ready to say. I'm not really, well, you don't care, Rob, but I do. I think I'm really ready to
No, but I mean, do you put it above like when you have your first child, your wedding day? I mean, that's
not stress. That's kind of anticipation.
Yeah. Okay, I suppose you're right. Stressful and anxiety.
Tomorrow is
perhaps you're right.
The most stressful day of my life.
The survey also found 59% of people say this has already been the most stressful year of their lives. I'll go along with that. And 2/3 just wish the year were over. The survey also found the top 5 ways people have successfully managed at least some of their stress this year. They are reading, exercise, hobbies, meditation, and cooking or baking. Got to thumbs up all of those. That's it.
I had a pep talk with my mom yesterday because she's stressed as everybody is. And I said, look, Mom, gear yourself up for the worst. Hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. And that's depending on where you're looking at. And in her eyes, it would just be another 4 years. And I said, I don't want you calling me crying. I just want you to prepare now, because that's the only way we've done what we can do. We can vote, right? We can tell people to vote, get out to vote, help people fill out their ballots if they need help. All that. Done.
I'm getting more stressed just listening to you. Oh, my God. According to a new survey, only 7% of people say they like this current system of changing the clocks once in the spring, and then again in the fall. 66% of people say they'd like to get rid of daylight savings time. So I have that story every year.
Forever.
I don't want to go on that. Forever. And now a little something. A doctor in India, was recently conned into buying Aladdin's lamp. The guys selling it faked a genie appearance, and one of them even dressed as Aladdin at one point. The doctor paid $41,600 for the lamp, then realized it was a scam. Oh, really? The two sellers have been arrested. I don't have anything more to add to this other than the doctor, and his quote was, "It has become obvious to me that book smarts are not to be measured with street smarts. And I never was able to get my 3 wishes. Number 1 would have been to have a bit of common sense." Thank you very much. There we are.
Very true. Very true.
That's all I have.
Well, there was another quote from the doctor. He said, I love lamp.
I love lamp. And please check out my no exclusive internet radio weather station. Anyway, that's it. We got to get out of here. Rob's coming in with the audio ball right after this on the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by winning season at MyBookie. MyBookie! Winning season means the NFL is in full swing, and it's your chance to win big. Giants playing the Buccaneers tonight, Monday night
Mike, the spread right now is 12.5.
For the Bucs?
Yeah, Giants are underdogs.
I'm taking that. I was waiting. There's no sweeter feeling than watching your team win the game, or if you're a Giants fan, cover the spread and put cash in your pocket. Double dynamite. Whether you're a first-time player, a veteran to the game, taking underdogs, or siding with the faves, the fact is there's no better time to get in on the action. Join now using our promo code TMOS, and you can grab a free $20 wager with your first deposit to bet on anything in the sports book. That's a free $20 bet. MyBookie is giving you the chance to make your first ever winning bet, and it's on the house. Nothing beats NFL action, and absolutely nothing beats free money, so join now and take advantage. Don't even think about it. Just head over to MyBookie now and get in the game. That's winning season, baby, and right now, exclusively at MyBookie. Get in on the action and enjoy. Let's open up the audio ball for today, Monday, the day before the election day, November 2nd. Rob Spiewak, take it away.
I'm glad Kim Kardashian had a nice 40th birthday on that island. I thought that was nice that she was able to do that. But what do you give her as a gift? You know?
What do you give the woman that has everything?
Well, I saw this on Friday. Kanye gave her a hologram of her late father, Robert Kardashian. Gave her a hologram of her father.
I watched this.
Talking to her.
You're 40 and all grown up. You look beautiful, just like when you were a little girl. I watch over you and your sisters and brother and the kids every day. I am so proud of the woman that you've become, Kimberly, and all that you've accomplished. All of your hard work and all the businesses you have built are incredible. But most impressive is your commitment to become a lawyer and carry on my legacy. The most beautiful thing that I have witnessed is watching you grow your family. You married the most genius man in the whole world, Kanye West. Keep doing what you're doing, Kimberly. Don't forget to say your prayers.
It's nice, isn't
it? Who gave it to her? He did?
He did! And he made that robot say that.
Sick God. I was actually engaged. I think that was humanly possible.
It was so sweet until the most genius man in the world, Kanye West.
Kanye, what an a-hole. God.
Meanwhile,
probably pretty expensive to put that together, I assume. Yeah.
Well, they have the money. There was some leftover budget from the island trip. Mike, this will be a palate cleanser. When you spot a drunk woman in a tree, And I'm talking 30, 35, maybe 40
I saw this
feet
video.
up.
I saw this video.
And they hire a bucket, one of those people lifting things to get her out of the tree.
Cherry picker. It's called a cherry picker.
She looks stuck. So the man in the bucket goes up and talks to her.
We got a drunk girl in the tree. Let's go get her. Ay, ay, ay. Excuse me, ma'am. What are you doing up in this tree?
Day drinking. What are you doing?
I'm here to fix the day drinking problem and get you out of this tree.
We don't have a problem here.
We don't have a problem
We
here.
don't have a problem here. And she was good looking.
She was.
She was really good looking. And she said, we don't have a problem here.
No.
And she was comfortable up in the tree. And I'm like, okay, go back down. And this guy's going, we got a drunk girl. We got a drunk girl. We got a drunk, it's just making his little viral video. Not really. You know what? Did you agree that guy was dickish the way he was handling the whole thing?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She wasn't bothering anybody.
The other thought I had, I liked the video, but suspicion. Don't you think he might have been the one that put her up there so he could make the video?
Yes.
Because how's she going to get up there
right now? You're right.
How's she going to get up there?
Oh, my God.
All right, let's go back
drinking.
to... this is a good theme today. Dicks in the news. Here's our next dick. David Lee Roth is a dick because he released a song for Eddie. And it is the stupidest, sloppiest song.
No. Oh, come on.
He steals from at least 2 other songs. So you know what, David Lee Roth? There's a phrase called rest in peace. Sometimes you let them rest in peace.
Thanks. Sorry we couldn't hear more of it.
Well, I'm not. I thought you did a good job there. Let's close with this. Our 5th consecutive dick today. This dick is a cat. And this is actual audio of a cat looking out a window. The dog's not even in the house yet. This cat sees a dog that's being brought home to live with it and sees the dog coming up the driveway. This cat seems nice.
Hey. It's okay. Come here. You want to close the window? Hey, it's really loud out here.
Terry?
I like the old man saying, or the man of the house saying, you want to close the window? It's really loud out here. I shall forever be a dog person. That's your magic audio vault. Have a great Monday, everybody.
Rob, I'd appreciate you sending that along to me, please. That last one there. That'd be fantastic. That's it. We got to get out of here. Hey, tomorrow's the day.
Yes.
Our election special. Actually, it's going to be just like any other show. We're just going to, we're going to have lots of sounds.
Yeah.
We're gonna have we will have the board, the Electoral College board.
Yeah.
We will have the coffee and donut station. Yep. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's tax day. I'm sorry.
We have the tote board here. We have the tote board here, so that'll be good.
I think perhaps we should have field reporters. We'll have reporters in the field. We'll have lots of people checking in, and of course we'll have our pollster to be named later.
Excellent.
Somebody will be we need Rob, pick a pollster. Somebody to come on the show and be our pollster.
And also
Last
we have
polls.
Mike, we have at the high school, Frank Herzog will be handing out Anderson. So
yes. Amen. For Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana, Michael Barrett saying, so long, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Before you go, please make a mental note. Today's show was made possible by the TMOS bonus packages. You can secure yours right now by going to MikeO'MaraShow.com and clicking on the red bonus banner. Buy it or give it. Either way, you're helping out TMOS, and that's a good thing. Thank you, and go in peace.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, sir.
It's done, Joan. They packed your things. They're loading your car.
Well, bye.